We now want to take a look at the situation in Ottawa. Severe thunderstorms brought another bout of heavy rain and hail to the capital yesterday afternoon, triggering significant flash flooding across the city. More than 75 millimetres of rain fell in a 6-hour period, and floodwaters rose to nearly a metre in some areas. That was high enough to turn busy roads, as you can see, into canals and backyards into lakes. Some drivers were forced to just abandon their cars in the middle of the street. And the CBC's David Thurton joins me now from Ottawa, not in studio, but out where that rain was just causing so much devastation. So where are you now, and how's the cleanup?
Hey, Arthur. Yeah, 24 hours ago, I have to say, this street was covered in water. Residents are telling me 24 hours ago, they were somewhat in a bit of a panic mode because this street was covered in water all the way up to their ankles. I'm just going to show you some of the after effects of that. So here we go here. Here we see an apartment, and you can see that the garage is open. There's a lot of stuff there that's soaking wet. Lots of things that I think we would probably consider junk now because it's probably not salvageable. Because you could see there the after effects of this. It's soaking wet all around the ground. Going into that garage, you could see there's some debris over there. You could see along the wall there heading into the garage, some debris stuck there. That gives you a sense of how high the water got. And we're just going to walk over here because, again, this street here in Vanier, which is about, I'd probably say, a 10-minute, 12-minute drive from downtown Ottawa, covered in water. Not just that home, but this home over here. You could also see, we're just going to go real quick here. You can see in this ground floor apartment, more evidence of how high the water got here. You can imagine, I mean, we're not inside, we don't have permission to go inside, but you can imagine whatever's inside there, couches, carpets, appliances, probably was soaking wet with water. This happened about, I'd say, about 24 hours ago, around noon, Ottawa time. Environment Canada is saying that about 70 to 100 millimeters of water fell within the period of a couple of hours. Apparently, that overwhelmed the sewage system on streets such as this. The flooding happened not just here in Vanier, but in the west and in the south, and really scattered throughout various places in the capital. But if we could just kind of bring it back to this street here in Vanier, St. Cecile Street, 24 hours after that flash flooding, that torrential rain, residents are still feeling the effects of it. They're picking up the pieces, trying to clean things up.
Came up over the sidewalk on this side of the street, not on that side of the street, and into my neighbor's carport, and yeah, there was a lot of water, but it also was drained by, I would say, maybe around 6:30 when I took the dog out again.
Water was probably up to about right here. And then every time cars would be coming down the street, they'd be creating these waves, so the water would come in even further, right? It was pretty bad.
So Arthur, how bad was it? Like I said, Environment Canada is saying about 70 millimeters to about 100 millimeters fell within that that time period. We're hearing that is, that breaks the record that we saw for rainfall on August 10th and possibly unofficially that we've ever seen in August within the capital region, within Ottawa.
So as you're mentioning there, of course, this is just the latest severe storm to hit Ottawa this summer. There's been a lot of storm weather through the region. So what are people there saying about all of this extreme weather?
Yeah, we began the year with some ice storms, some flooding. We've seen several tornadoes touch down and cause a lot of damage in several communities throughout the capital region, mostly suburbs. So a lot of people are just pointing to this and saying, what is going on? And this seems to be happening on a Thursday. The flooding here happened on a Thursday. The tornadoes are happening, it seems, on a Thursday. Is it Tornado Thursdays? Maybe that's what we need to call it. Some people are actually calling it that. So many people are pointing to, this possibly is the new normal as we see climate change. The effects of climate change continue to accelerate. We're seeing that with wildfires throughout the country. It appears in the capital region. We're seeing that through tornadoes, flooding, and other severe weather.
Thanks for the latest, David. That is the CBC's David Thurton in Ottawa. And now earlier today, we spoke with Ottawa City Councillor Sean Devine. He told us where things stand right now and what the cleanup effort will look like.
There's a few areas in the east part of the city that I heard still have some water, but as with any kind of flood damage, it's what the flood leaves behind that's the real problem. Even though the water has receded now, there's going to be a lot of flooded basements that's going to cause a lot of significant damage. I mean, Ottawa has had flooding in the past, but I've received, just to give you some context, I've received a bunch of emails from people in my ward that are telling me of, that I've lived here for 47 years and I've never had this kind of flood. So I think it certainly is catching people off guard. The damage to my home is quite minor, but basically my 72 millimeters of rain in 1 hour, it overwhelms a lot of systems, including my own house. So yeah, I had some minor flooding in my basement, which I had to deal with last night while also dealing with residents. But compared to what others have been through, it wasn't that severe.
That was Ottawa City Councillor Sean Devine speaking to us earlier today.